Astrodome in Houston, Texas, the first dome to host a Supercross, the third venue to become part of the series back in 1974. I'm Art Ekman along with David Bailey and David Coombs, ready to bring you round number 9 of the 1997 season. As the riders are getting ready for tonight's first qualifying heat, here's the procedure. The top 4 riders from each 2 qualifying events go directly to the main event. The rest of the field goes to the semifinals, where the top 5 get the transfer and stand next in line to pick gate positions. Then only 2 more places available, and they come from the last chance qualifier. The rest go home without a paycheck. 20 riders in all for the 250 starting gate. In this heat, the winningest Supercross rider in sports history, Jeremy McGrath. Jeremy won his first race of the season last week in Minneapolis. It took a long time for him to get his first win, but the 4-time champion told us it was like winning his very first Supercross.
It felt like I had never won a race, and that was my first time ever winning, and that was pretty cool. I mean, the feeling I got after that race was just a big relief, but also it was one of the happiest times in my whole career so far.
So accustomed to being the rider everyone else looked up to, the guy with the target on his back, Jeremy simply kept working hard, not letting comments and feelings get to it.
I was frustrated, but I wasn't worried that I wouldn't win, because over the last 3 weeks it's been building up. I knew I was going to win. There's a lot of skeptics out there, you know. Jeff Ward was one of them. I've heard him say that, you know, now that McGrath's on Suzuki, he's on the downswing and his career's going to be over. And, you know, some people have to eat crow, you know.
Jeremy never stops looking for fresh ideas, and when some 25,000 fans stayed after the victory ceremonies at Minneapolis, he came up with a Supercross first, a knack-knack curtain call.
We went to Garth Brooks' concert that Gary set us up with tickets for, and the guy did 4 encores. I mean, we were sitting there wanting more and more and more, and that was kind of where it got, you know, I got inspired by that, and it was really cool, and I thought, man, you know, maybe the Supercross fans would want to see something like that after, you know, I won the race.
Jeremy has also learned to deal with what comes with being the sport's all-time winner. He's learned to respect other number ones.
I would say, yeah, I'd love to be Michael Jordan for a day, but I can imagine what he has to go through. I mean, I am not even a quarter of what he has to go through, and, you know, he's the biggest sports star in the world, and I can't imagine that. That'd be torture.
With more podiums this year than anyone at the gate, and coming off his first victory of the season, Jeremy's looking for better things to come.
I don't have nothing to lose. I mean, I've had my bad races so far, and I haven't, hopefully, nothing but better races coming.
McGrath is ready to keep the ball rolling here tonight in our first qualifying heat. Jeremy McGrath, along with Larry Ward, Doug Henry, who's had such a phenomenal season, Ezra Lusk, Jimmy Button, Phil Lawrence, Ryan Huffman, Corey Keeney. Let's see who gets the whole shot out of the group. In good position is Larry Ward, number 6, going to the outside, trying to go for it. Ward, McGrath.
McGrath in the right place, though. He positioned himself to the inside. A little battle he and Lusk had, but Jeremy won that battle. It paid off for him in the end. He's got the lead now.
Henry moving into 3rd. Ryan Huffman with a good start is 4th. Jimmy Button coming off a 3rd place finish in Minneapolis, then is 5th. But only the top 4 advance to the main event. Look at that. Larry Ward comes off Thor Mountain.
Larry Ward just going for the jugular. Got right back under Jeremy McGrath.
Larry Ward kind of sagging a bit after starting the season with tremendous headlines. He was hurt at the beginning of the season, but riding very, very well. Maybe he's hurt again, because he's riding great.
Every time he's hurt, he does well.
Jeremy McGrath in 2nd has a little slip there, David.
Little mistake. That's been a tricky section all night. You see the guys, they try to hop from one line into the other, and Jeremy's back tire just got away from him for a second. He's got a lot of pressure from Doug Henry right now, and Lusk putting the pressure on Ryan Huffman.
It's Larry Ward, Jeremy McGrath, and Doug Henry as we take a look at Ryan Huffman, number 47, getting the big chase from Ezra Lusk, number 11, from Bainbridge, Georgia.
Entering that whoop section after the first turn, Huffman jumping over that first entire section of whoops, but he's got to go wide.
Huffman having his problems, as is Larry Ward on that last corner, giving Jeremy McGrath a good break.
Well, that was the section Larry Ward was so quick in the lap before. Look at the different lines. McGrath's got something a little different here that he's been doing. Larry Ward does at that time.
Larry Ward, the top independent rider, needs a good showing to get fired up and get into contention once again.
There you see the different lines. Henry almost sneaking in there. If he was a little closer to Jeremy entering that section, he'd get in there and shove Jeremy out of the way.
Larry Ward taking the outside line and holding on to the advantage here in our first qualifying round.
Ward's been feisty. He's the type of guy that you know he's going to be strong in the beginning of the race. Did something a little different there, too.
Here comes Henry, just knocking on the door of Jeremy McGrath. Boy, does this tell you we're going to have a great main event tonight?
This is any indication. This is only one heat. You still got more riders out there. Jeremy unable to go for that first double.
Here comes Henry. Henry battling bar to bar with McGrath. He's got the edge. McGrath cuts inside. Oh, my goodness, what a qualifying round. Jeremy McGrath holding on to second place. More great action from one of Supercross's most historic tracks when we get back.
A fuel-injected 90-degree V-twin. An exotic all-aluminum truss frame, and a rear suspension so advanced it's patented. Introducing the Suzuki TL1000S, a sport bike with such forward thinking, the rest of the world seems backwards.
For over 30 years, Cycle News has been the weekly newspaper for motorcycle race fans. Results are official, point standings are current, and race coverage is timely and complete.
Oh, it was a great race, you know. I mean, it was an interesting race. And to win the last race and say...
It's something I dreamed of when I was a little kid, is to be a Supercross star. And
Riding impressions, new products, events calendar, classified ads, and more. Cycle News, America's weekly motorcycle newspaper. Call 1-800-325-2925 or visit cyclenews.com on the World Wide Web.
If it was baseball, his rookie card would be worth a small fortune. If it was football, every kid would be wearing his jersey. But Jeremy McGrath had other plans, to take a motorcycle and to show the world how far your dreams can take you.
Get ready for the thrill of your life. AMA Supercross live. A Saturday night you'll never forget. AMA Supercross live. The guts and the glory of the best riders in the world. AMA Supercross live. Feel the rush of the most extreme sport on the planet live. AMA Supercross. The 1997 flight to the finish. Live it live.
AMA Supercross on ESPN2 is being brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. And by Honda. With a whole line of new motorcycles, your Honda dealer is the most exciting place to be this spring. Honda, come ride with us.
Welcome back to the Astrodome in Houston. Our first qualifying heat is tire to tire, bar to bar. Larry Ward loses the lead to Jeremy McGrath over the finish line jump.
That's unbelievable. When McGrath went in there and he stole the line, Henry had been sneaking up on him in the corner. Then he got to the inside of Larry Ward and still jumped that finish line from the inside. There goes Henry over that entire set of whoops into the double. He's got to go wide to do it, but you make up a lot of time.
Now's a good time to talk about this incredible track. They build it with all kinds of obstacles, but you know what? These great riders are leaping over them.
Well, the track designers think, okay, they're probably going to go about 2, 3, 3 through here, the rhythm. They end up jumping the whole entire thing.
It's Jeremy McGrath, Henry, Ward, Lusk, and Button has moved into the scene in 5th place. Can he take on Lusk on the bubble?
And can Henry get around McGrath? Because coming up to this section, after they make this left-hander, Henry's been doing something a little different. He jumps over that entire section.
Oh! McGrath's got the inside line, though, coming out of that corner.
You can hear it. Jeremy can hear the crowd as well. He knows something's going on back there, and he covered it perfect.
Henry, the last time he won a heat was back at Indianapolis in round 5. And look at here, Henry takes the outside line. Another battle. Jeremy McGrath getting by that lapper well, taking the right line over the triple they go. That's the first triple of 2 on this course. As Jeremy McGrath goes into banana rockers. Boy, they swing through there with great speed. Takes the inside move up the Thor Mountain.
Didn't quite get all the way over the top the way Henry did. If you get all the way over that, you can get right back to the power. Jeremy just kind of skipping off the top like that. Henry, here he gets not quite as close to Jeremy as he was the last lap. This is where he's been making up all that time.
We've got a great battle out in front with Jeremy McGrath and Doug Henry, no question about it, but there is a 3-bike battle now for second place. Only 2 of those 3 riders will be able to go to the main event directly out of this qualifying round. This is just too exciting to leave, though. Look at the speed. Great shots. Here comes Jeremy McGrath. Number 20 is Doug Henry in the battle for first place. All kinds of lappers are going around Rich Taylor's bike. Rich switching to the Suzuki, and Jimmy Button having bad luck, having to restart.
And he went into that corner in a battle.
Washed out.
Trying to work his way around Larry Ward. Ooh. Those 2 got together, and he got the short end of the stick.
Well, they cased it there, that's for sure. Number 18, tough luck for Jimmy Button after a 3rd place finish in the last matchup at Minneapolis. His first 250 podium ever. Back to the lead now. Jeremy McGrath, number 1.
McGrath is covering the line of Doug Henry.
Henry to the inside. They do some bumping. Oh, they're scraping paint. Look out.
Well, Jeremy took the line away, and Henry, he anticipated that, went a little bit further to the right, still jumped that whole section. Now we got a race. I don't think Jeremy's going to give up.
Doug Henry, number 20, took second in the opening round, won the second round, took a 6th, then won the 4th round, a 3rd, then went to an 8th and a 10th, losing the points lead during that time. A 4th in the last race at Minneapolis' Metrodome. But it looks like his forearm is completely healed after a practice crash some time ago. Oh, it was badly bruised. It looked like, how could he possibly hold on to a handlebar? But it is fully healed now, that's for sure.
And it looks like it, too. He's back out there the way he looked early in the season when he was dominating the heat races, setting the fastest laps. And you know, Doug's a tough guy. He doesn't like to talk about and make excuses for things, but during Gainesville and Daytona and Minneapolis, he was hurting, and I was impressed with his ride coming back to pass Emig on that last lap, preserve second in the points.
Team Yamaha, white flag lap, is sandwiching Jeremy McGrath. Henry in the lead, McGrath in second, Ezra Lusk now in 3rd.
What Jeremy's doing right now is trying to learn as much as he can. You can see Henry's got a lot of different lines out there. That's what enabled him to make the pass on McGrath. Jeremy's studying all that. Plus, these guys have videos. Jeremy will go back to the truck and regroup for the main event if he can't get around Doug in this final lap.
Larry Ward has slowed way off the pace. In fact, Jeff DeMint has a battle going on with Phil Lawrence for the final spot. Here's the leadership, though. Henry still getting harassment from McGrath. DeMint out of Humboldt, Texas, trying to make this main event in the opening qualifying round. He is the guy on the bubble right now as we look back to Henry and McGrath. This is the final lap of our first qualifying round.
Now, it's kind of funny that Henry just protected his line. Didn't do anything special through there. He doesn't want to show Jeremy anything.
The checkers for Doug Henry. Jeremy McGrath also putting on a great performance. Ezra Lusk in 3rd. Can DeMint take a 4th? Henry wins our opening heat. He'll get the first pick of the gate in concert with our winner of the next qualifying heat. Heat number 2 coming up next.
Hi, I'm AJ Hammer from VH1, and right now, instead of looking at me, well, you could be watching your very own commercial. You can advertise locally on VH1. It's not as expensive, it's not as difficult as you might think. All you have to do is call your local cable company. VH1 is the music channel for adults. We hand-deliver you an audience of your key customers. So if you'd rather be looking at your commercial now instead of me, just watch this.
To advertise locally on VH1, call 549-8999.
Good eye, Uncle. Need a lift?
Nice car, kid.
It's my Subaru Outback Sport.
Another Outback.
Same all-wheel drive traction as yours, better gas mileage than a Cherokee Sport.
That's fine, but can she?
Alcorn or RAV4? No problem. Outback Sport. The newest Outback from Subaru.
Test drive one now during all-wheel drive days at your California Subaru dealer.
NHRA are your ticket to all the action. Live on pay-per-view, the Pennzoil Nationals from Virginia, Sunday, April 27th. Call your cable company or satellite provider and order now for just $14.95. You'll go trackside to meet the drivers, catch all the highlights and instant replays, and get the complete stats on every run. It's just like being there. The Pennzoil Nationals, Sunday, April 27th, 10:30 to 6. Call now to catch all the action.
Welcome back to the Astrodome. Here was the battle. Number 20, Doug Henry. Just 2 points ahead of Jeremy McGrath, second in the points title chase. Takes the lead in the first qualifying heat. These 4 riders, the first to qualify for tonight's main event. And Davey is with our winner right now, Doug Henry. And boy, was that a battle. Davey.
Doug, tell us about that pass on Jeremy.
Well, I'm really not sure where the heck I passed him, but I was just trying to ride behind him. You know, I wanted to go out there and get the heat race win because this part of the season, you know, it's real important to me. So I just want to go out there and win as much as I could.
Well, let me refresh your memory. You got him in those S turns. You snuck in. I don't even know if he saw you coming. Pushed him out, a little bit of contact. Will that carry over to the main event?
Oh, yeah. I mean, last week was the most physical race of the season, I think. And, you know, who knows? Maybe this one will be the same way.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thanks.
A tremendous ride from this young man, Doug Henry. It was Henry, McGrath, Lusk, Dement, the local boy, made it into the main event. As we look at the Suzuki track map, a characteristic of the Astrodome, the floor of the stadium has more space than most domes, making for a lot larger track, David Bailey.
It's also cement, so they bring the dirt right in and get to the track, and they did a lot. They put a lot more emphasis on trying to make the riders race through the corners. The start is quite a bit longer than what we've seen here in the past. And that goes right into a whoop section. It's interrupted by a double jump. Then through the first triple and onto Thor Mountain before you cross the starting line. Another triple right before the finish, an S turn. They're trying to create 2 lines, but we just saw Jeremy get snuffed out by Henry. It's a good place to pass right before the finish.
Looking at the starting line, getting ready for our second qualifying heat, which includes our points leader, Jeff Emig, Greg Albertine with a tremendous second-place finish in Minneapolis. And there's Doug Henry's wife and the young child, of course, that is so precious. Her first television appearance, I understand.
I would imagine there hasn't been too many other opportunities.
And it won't be her last, I'm sure. Mike LaRocco also in this next qualifying round, along with Steve Lapson, Damon Bradshaw, who's had such a fine time here in the Astrodome. Oh, he's got a great record. 3 wins here at the Astrodome. Brian Swink, Todd Kirby, James Eckel, Cliff Palmer, just some of the names that'll be pounding it out here in the second qualifying heat. And of course, if you don't get to the main event, you don't make any money in Supercross. These guys want to go directly to the main. 3 wins this year, as you see, for Jeff Emig. But he has a very shy point advantage.
It's amazing, the best season he's ever had. 3 wins, a win in Daytona, that had to be special. And then to only be 6 points ahead after all that work, it's really frustrating. He's got to know, all 3, Henry and Jeremy and Emig, all have to know that this is just going to go down to the wire. Whoever stays healthy and focused is going to come out on top.
30-second board is up. When that board goes sideways, the gates will drop between 5 and 10 seconds.
Bradshaw
goes sideways. There's Damon Bradshaw.
Yeah, resting after having the flu. Really caused him to drop back in Daytona, but he was a threat until that started to take its toll. And then he skipped last week to get healthy for this race. I think he wants to put Manchester Honda on the podium, and this would be a great place to do it, where he's proven it before.
At the Astrodome, Bradshaw, lots of success, winning in 1990, 92, and 93. We're all set to go now. The qualifying heat number 2 is underway. Guess who's out there? Bradshaw, number 10, sneaking into second place, taking the inside line, but having trouble in that whoop section. Oh, this is a good battle for second. Bradshaw boxes out Albertine.
That's Jeff Emig.
Jeff Emig in the lead. Bradshaw in second. Albertine in third. LaRocco in fourth.
Bradshaw right where he'd like to be. I'm sure he'd like to be in front of Emig right now, but he's got a good look at the lead. Albertine's been notorious for putting a lot of pressure on guys and passing them, and he got by Bradshaw in Daytona. Just barely squeaked by through the mechanics area, run over his mechanics' toes. He's aggressive. He'll get in there and shove Bradshaw around if he can stay out close enough.
Right now, Emig already has a 1.5-second lead on the number 10 bike of Damon Bradshaw in second place. Second qualifying round. The action is hot and heavy here in the Astrodome. Stay tuned.
Walk in with no down payment. Ride off with a new Honda Shadow or Magna. Walk in, get low financing. Ride off with a Honda Goldwing or Valkyrie. Walk in at the right time. Ride off with a CBR 600 F3 and a custom watch while supplies last. Until May 31st, get low financing, no down payment, and a custom watch with selected models at your Honda dealer. The Honda Ride-Off. Walk in, ride off.
More air means more power.
RPM tonight, Monday through Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 8, only on ESPN2.
Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs at the Astrodome, watching the world's best Supercross riders, and the points leader, Jeff Emig, continues to lead our second qualifying heat. There is his board. Focus, be fast. Jeremy Albright, his mechanic, and what a team that's been this year.
It's been a great team, and as soon as you start getting some wins, just everything feels a lot better. Get along better. Everything seems to work a little bit better. It's a great place to be, and as soon as you lose that combination, it took so long to find it, and you think, I should be able to keep that. But if you could jar that up and sell it, you'd be rich. I wish I could have kept it.
This is the only battle on the track, and this is for the final qualifying spot. Mike LaRocco, number 5 of Team Suzuki, and number 13, Brian Swinks.
Amazing finish line jump this week. They get as much airtime, if not more, on that as they do off the triples. And there goes Swink.
LaRocco and Swink battling it out. Swink, number 13, he wants to advance.
Small bobble by LaRocco allowed that to happen. Swink has stayed aggressive. He stayed in the right place to capitalize on that mistake.
Yes, his best finish, an 11th spot at Daytona and Atlanta. Brian Swink moving into 4th, the final transfer spot. Swinkster, a 5th was his best at Detroit last year. He had a 2nd back in 1995. Can LaRocco come firing back?
He's close enough, and there's enough laps where he can make a pass, but Swink is not an easy guy to pass. And it looks to me like he's very focused. He's been getting a little stronger in the past few weeks, and I don't think he's going to let LaRocco get around.
Well, of course, Swink coming off that carpal tunnel operation on both hands, where the muscles just don't cooperate with your brain.
That's got to be really frustrating, and just to experience and then to try to come back from that. He's doing a good job of it. This is one of the most demanding sports in the world for your hands and coordination. You hear these guys talking about arm pump all the time. Well, your arm pumps up and your hand goes numb. You can't use the clutch, the brake, the throttle, hang on. You can't do anything right. You just fade to the back.
Bradshaw handling a true course now, number 10 in 2nd place.
Now he worked his way right up to the back of Emig there a lap ago. Looked like he was very focused and aggressive and just wanted to get around him. He didn't even think about Albertine and pulled away.
Now he's 3.5 seconds in back of the leader.
Keeps fluctuating. He's made a couple of mistakes, and getting around a lapper, he got the kind of a bad deal, and Emig's opened it up, but he's been able to close back up, so that's good news. Damon's definitely got the pace tonight.
3 laps to go in our second qualifying heat. Jeff Emig once again showing great dominance.
Jeremy Albright, Jeff's mechanic, anticipating Jeff coming around, figuring out what signal to give him. He's just opened it up a little bit over Damon, but Damon won't let him alone.
This is a very encouraging performance for Brian Swink.
Starting to close in on Albertine. You see Albertine just coming out of that corner.
The Swinkster won here back in 1992 in the 125s. That, at that time, was an East-West confrontation. Both regions battling it out. So he beat Jeremy McGrath in that race.
He was amazing on the 125s, and I think a lot of people expected him to just get right up in there in the 250s and do well. Maybe he expected it too, but whole different story. lot longer races, and the pace is furious all the way to the last lap. A little bit more aggressive style. The start's more important, and he's found out the hard way. He's had some setbacks, but he's toughed it through them all.
Albertine coming off 2 straight second-place finishes. Starting more consistency now, and that's what, of course, he's looking for here tonight. Swingsters right up his back, and there's Mike LaRocco, number 5.
That's a bad place. You're right behind somebody getting over Thor Mountain. They're just landing on the opposite side. They give a great big handful of throttle, and they shoot you right in the face with all that roost.
Emig, Bradshaw, Albertine, Swink, and LaRocco, our field summary. But only the top 4 making it to the main event. This is the white flag lap. Final lap for number 3, Jeff Emig.
Swink is getting close to Albertine in that last lap. He's got a different line going into those S's. That could be interesting. Emig's distance over Bradshaw has stayed about the same the past couple of laps. I think that's by design. His mechanics letting him know what that split is, and he's adjusting his pace accordingly.
Emig, a good 5-second lead on Damon Bradshaw.
Guys making this track look easy. That triple they just went over is not easy. Some of the 125s having a real tough time getting over it.
Jeff Rowe, a great favorite of the fans. What a mature competitor he has become, especially after being the only rider to beat Jeremy McGrath last season. That was in St. Louis, and coming back to really be the target for this year's riders. Jeff Emig, the Checkers. 8 riders have now qualified for tonight's main event. The semis are next. Plus, we will hear from Jeff Emig in a moment.
The bike you dream about means serious cash, right? Wrong, people. Do the math. During Suzuki Fest 97, get up to $500 in Suzuki accessories free when you buy a selected Suzuki. Like the muscle-bound Intruder 1400. You'll also get free accessories with the Intruder 800 and the Savage 650. And choose from finance options like 0 down and 9.9% APR on selected models. But hurry, Suzuki Fest won't last. So you and Suzuki means, well, you do the math.
Now is the time to train for the career you've always wanted. Just ask Motorcycle Mechanics Institute graduate Al Luddington, now lead mechanic for Honda's championship-winning Smokin' Joe's Superbike team.
MMI gave me the knowledge and training to take me to the top of my profession. It's a great place to start, and I recommend it to anybody looking to kick off a career in motorcycle mechanics or the personal watercraft industry.
Change your life with one phone call, 1-800-994-3664. That's 1-800-994-3664. Call today.
You're lucky. At least, you're not a goalie. The Lightning and Panthers tomorrow at 7:30. The NHL on ESPN2.
Number 3, Jeff Emig, just winning his 4th consecutive qualifying heat in Supercross action. He's got a string going, winning every other race. Hey, tonight might be his turn. Jeff Emig, Bradshaw, Albertine, Swink qualifying to the main event. Davey Coombs is with Jeff Rowe right now.
Jeff, as you've done all month, you start out with that totally solid heat race win. That's your 4th one in a row.
Yeah, Kawasaki built me a great bike. The thing gets off to start awesome. I'm more than happy with the Bridgestone tires and all that stuff that we're running. And everybody's just doing a great job, and I'm trying to ride it the best I can. And I sure would like to come back after last week's disappointment, come back and win tonight.
Well, it looks like the other 2 guys are on their best game tonight. I don't know if you got to see Jeremy and Doug Henry in that first heat race, but that was something else.
Yeah, they had a really good heat race. And but I think that my times were faster, and I'm really, really comfortable. So, man, I just want to go win this thing.
All right on, Jeff.
Thanks.
Okay, Davey, more preliminary action as the Supercross Warriors battle to get to tonight's main event. Here's our next TV race, the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. That'll be on a Friday night, 8:30 p.m., April 4th. We'll be back with more Supercross action as we move to the semis after this.
6 cylinders, 6 carbs, 2 bags, 1 windshield. It's a good thing we got 50 states. The new Valkyrie Tourer. America's the boulevard it was born to cruise.
I'm a soft-spoken kind of guy. There's nothing more important to me than a quiet chat with my son, Shaquille. I just marched to the phone and dialed 1-800-COLLECT. The money I saved him, he can use to buy some new backboards. Take it through the hole, Shaquille.
He's gonna slam!
And they wonder where he gets it from.
1-800-COLLECT. Save the people you call up to 44%.
The Wall Street Journal keeps you on the cutting edge with news and insights that can affect you personally and professionally. Subscribe now and have the Journal delivered to your home or office. And with your paid subscription, you'll also receive our free personal finance software to help you make smart decisions. Get 10 weeks of the Journal and the software for only $3.90 a week. Call now, 800-346-5300. That's 800-346-5300 for the Wall Street Journal.
AMA Supercross is being brought to you by Dunlop. Simply the best for your bike.
Welcome back to the Astrodome, where we're getting set for the semifinal round. Lots of big names still gunning to make the main event here tonight in the Astrodome. You know, after practice yesterday, all the riders I talked with like the dirt here in the Dome. They get good traction, and the track seems to be holding up well. Let's check in with Davey Coombs.
I got your track back down here, Art. One of the things about this track, the centerpiece basically, is this large mountain of dirt behind me. We've been calling it Thorn Mountain, but track designer Mark Barnett likes to call it Stairway to Heaven. It is a signature jump of C.E. Altman, one of the founders of Supercross. Back in the day, he founded this Houston Astrodome race, and one of the things he said was the bigger the jump, the bigger the excitement. So every year here in Houston, they try to put a big jump in just for C.E. Altman.
And right now, the semifinal number one getting set. Phil Lawrence, Larry Ward, Ryan Huffman, Jimmy Button, Jason Frenette, Jeff Hedden. Names we've heard before, David.
Plenty of names that can make this main event. A lot of competition, although for some of the privateers, a little easier because of some of the guys that are injured and can't make it this week.
That's right. Craig breaking a bone in his back. In the Angel Wing portion, he wasn't able to make it. Lamson went home. And getting the whole shot, number 74, Jeff Hedden from Valley Center, Kansas. But look out, Larry Ward, number 6 on the outside. Number 12 on the inside is Phil Lawrence, and here comes Jimmy Button, number 18. Button getting into third place, getting around Lawrence.
Hedden doing a good job of holding him off. Until he went wide right there. He had a golden opportunity to take the inside.
Susan, keep out of your mouth, David. Here's Larry Ward. You know, Larry Ward and Jimmy Button got into it during that qualifying round.
Yeah, it looked like it was get even time, and it ended up costing the both of them. Now that here they are in a semi. Larry Ward was looking strong in those opening laps. Of course, Button coming off that podium last week. Both these guys are capable of running up there strong in the main event.
Davey, did you get an idea as to what went on between these two?
Yes, sir. I went back in the pits between the races. I asked Jimmy Button first and then Larry Ward. They both just kind of laughed and shrugged it off and said, hey, that's racing. And neither of them said any bad blood's going to carry over.
Okay, the top 5 out of our semifinal round here will make it to the main event. And right now, it's Ward, Hedden, Button, Lawrence, followed by Ryan Huffman. Ryan Huffman has gotten good starts lately.
Starts are so important in Supercross, and more important lately with everybody being so close in talent. You get a great start, put in a few hard laps. Albertine's found that out in the main event recently.
Frenette is off the track over near the crowd. Here's Ward, Hedden, Button, Lawrence, and Huffman, our field summary. If those 5 can take it.
There goes Button to the inside. One more time, Hedden leaves that door wide open. Watch Button, he wheelies over that first little camel hump and jumps off the top over some whoops.
It's like 2 definite different angles going through the S's there as Button comes over the finish line jump.
That corner after the finish line jump a lot faster than usually is. Usually that's a 180-degree corner. These guys carrying a lot more speed through there. Now it looks like, at least in this semi, the fastest line before the whoops is the outside now.
You know, the lines look defined, but they don't look like they're breaking down at all.
No, and they do a good job to take care of the racetrack in any place where it may be forming a one-line situation. They'll do that, of course, before the 125 main. If they have time for the 250, they're just trying to make the race not any easier for the riders, but to try to make it more even.
Let's go down to Davey Coombs as we take a look at Larry Ward, our leader. Dave.
Marshall, we know there was a problem with Larry in the heat race. Did he let that get under his skin, or is he just out here doing his own thing again?
He got a little bit tight. I think he got out in the lead, and a little bit tight, but I think it's over with now. We're just out here to put in 6 good laps and try and qualify for the main event.
Larry Ward with 2 third-place finishes this year in Los Angeles and Seattle. Rode better earlier in the season. That was when he was injured, coming off the off-season World Supercross Tour. Actually injured himself in practice at the Honda practice track. But Jimmy Button is coming up fast in 2nd place as we take a look at Phil Lawrence in 3rd.
Phil has had his share of problems this year with his hand.
Boy, hasn't he?
He re-injured it again in practice today, so it's pretty sore, but looks like he's going to the main event unless he makes a huge mistake here. I doubt he will.
Jimmy Button trying to make a race of it in 2nd place. Has caught up to within 5 bike lengths of our leader.
You can see Button right there. This is the section where he does things a little different. It didn't work as well that time, but he still got all the way up and over it, like we saw Henry doing earlier in his heat race.
Well, let's see if it was just racing as these two get closer together here in the first semifinal round. Larry Ward, number 6, Honda of Troy. Jimmy Button of Chaparral. 2 very fine independent teams.
This guy's starting to hit that berm before the whoops so hard. Ward hit it that time. His forks compressed and rebounded. He almost lost the front end. Couldn't do that section of whoop-de-doos, and neither could Button because he was following him.
Jimmy Button looking very fast lately. They totally redid the bike after Daytona. Brand new motor, new suspensions. They just ripped it down and started over, and Jimmy certainly has been able to ride this one much faster. We'll be back with more exciting semifinal action. When he gets back, here goes Jimmy Button. He just takes the lead. Let's hold it here momentarily. So Jimmy Button and Larry Ward battle bar to bar. Will it stay this way? Here comes Ward coming right back. Oh, baby. 2 different lines through the S's. Larry Ward's got the one he wants. White flag lap. Let's break for a commercial.
Visit Launchpad and the Science Store in Crystal Court at South Coast Plaza.
At Auto Liquidators, we believe in smashing the heck out of high dealership prices.
Hi, I'm Scott from Auto Liquidators. You'll never get the donut-eating, high-pressure salesman here. We have the friendliest staff to serve you. We sell all makes and models, even if you're a first-time buyer or have had past credit problems. Remember, we are the place the big dealers don't want you to know about. We'll see you here.
Here we go, man. Look at this. The whole world's falling apart out there.
Bailey, Davey Coombs bringing you round 9 of Supercross Action 97. We're in the midst of semifinal number 1, and what a rocketing semifinal it's been. Larry Ward maintaining the lead, holding off Jimmy Button.
Normally the semi is just one of those races where you just kind of disappointed he didn't make it out of the heat race, and you don't want to do anything weird in the semi. You have to go to the last chance qualifier. These guys are taking it to each other. In that switchback section before the finish, the last lap, that's what they got together in the heat race. Really caused a lot of problems for each other, and coming up on this last lap, we may see some more of that.
It's a lonely 3rd for Phil Lawrence, and then Ryan Huffman, I believe, in 4th, as this one is not over with yet. The S's, though, right before the checkers. Oh, Button almost had an edge there. They didn't touch. 1-2, what a race. Larry Ward.
He was smart to use that inside. And Button's been riding a little bit lately with McGrath, so that's had to add to his confidence as well as the motorcycle.
So 5 more riders trying their hardest to make the main event here tonight out of the semifinal round. And there's the 2 embattled warriors right now. Not too friendly in discussion, but an acknowledgement that Larry Ward has won. We'll be back with more and more qualifying action here at the Astrodome after these words.
It has a 937cc liquid-cooled 16-valve engine with straight intake tracks, adjustable suspension, and an ultra-rigid twin-tube diamond-type frame. Best of all, it's comfortable on any road. The Suzuki RF900R.
When he took apart my drill just to see how it worked, he made me mad. When he built his first radio to contact life on other planets, he made me laugh. When he picked electronics as a career, he made me think. And when he graduated from ITT Tech, he made me proud.
For an informative brochure, call ITT Tech at 1-800-942-0099. That's 1-800-942-0099.
You've seen lawyers. I think that you should take the deal. I don't trust you. You've seen judges.
Get out of here.
I'm saying what I came to say.
I'll have you arrested.
As soon as I get out, I'll be right back.
And you've seen trials.
You withheld the truth from this jury. The truth that he tried to kill somebody else.
But you've never seen anything.
That was the most despicable thing I've ever seen anyone do.
Like this. The Practice, Tuesdays on ABC.
Part of the action from semifinal number 1, Jimmy Button, number 18, who took a third on the podium in Minneapolis. Larry Ward trying to fight back into contention, is the top independent rider and shows us why right here. Very wisely, Larry Ward picks the right lines, David Bailey.
Well, Button tried to go to the outside on the left-hander before that S-turn, and I think he lost a little bit of time to Larry Ward, riding too defensive, and Ward came right back and took him on the inside.
These are the 5 riders that advanced besides Ward and Button, Lawrence, Huffman, and Hedden. Let's go down to Davey Coombs, who's with Larry Ward.
Larry, any special significance knocking Jimmy Button off in that semi?
No, not really. No, Jimmy's actually riding real good. He's coming off a good race last weekend, and you know, I started off the year real hot, and it's time to get back on the charge. I'm not out of this thing yet, and you know, I'm getting a little more aggressive, and these guys are going fast. I'm just trying as hard as I can, and hopefully I get out there and be back up here on the podium for the main.
Is this one of those nights where it's almost okay to ride the semi, get a little more track time?
I think so, only because speeds have increased so much from practice. In practice, we were all just jumping everything. Now we're jumping everything and going really, really fast. So I think for me, it helped me. It gets the arm pump out a little bit, and you know, it just gets this Honda Troy bike up here on TV a little bit more.
Well, wish you luck in the main, Larry.
All right, thanks a lot.
You know, this is a track of winning streaks. You got Mark Barnett and Bob Hanna. They stood atop the Astroland leaderboard with 5 wins each, the winningest riders here in the Astrodome. That was back in the days, David Bailey, of 2 nights of racing each year in the Astrodome, and both Barnett and Hanna swept doubleheaders 2 straight years. Jeff Ward next with 4 consecutive victories. Then you have Jeremy McGrath, who's on a streak of 3 consecutive wins. Damon Bradshaw won it 3 times, 1990, 92, and 93. DeStefano twice. 8 riders have won here at the Astrodome once, including you, sir.
Well, at least I snuck one in there, and I followed Hanna and Barnett to a second place while they were getting their sweeps out of the way. That was kind of nice. If you're second to Bob Hanna in those days, or Mark Barnett for that matter, you're pretty stoked to stand up on the podium.
Well, it was a good learning process for you, though.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't feel like I was as good as Bob that year, and for me to finish second behind him was kind of a foolish attitude, but back then there was just, the racing was so tight, the points were so close, I didn't want to do anything dumb trying to get around him because he's not easy to pass.
You don't have to adjust your picture. It is a little foggy here in the Astrodome right now as we take a look at a very quiet Mike LaRocco from South Bend, Indiana, and I know right now we'd like to extend our best wishes and hopes and prayers for his wife Elizabeth, who is just not feeling very well right now. We wish the best for her back in South Bend, Indiana, as Mike prepares to run this semifinal. It's Cliff Palmer, Jeff Tilton, Eric Anderson, James Chamberlain, James Eichel, Jason Thomas, who's had some good fast performances lately, Actually, a lot of new riders, a lot of new names because of all the injuries that we've seen here in the 250 ranks.
And a great opportunity for some guys to make the main event that never have. And for LaRocco, he's got to look down the line and feel like, boy, if I don't win this one, I better not even go back to the pits. Not to take anything away from the talent that's on the starting gate, but Mike LaRocco should be able to win this easily.
41,011 fans here at the Astrodome as we continue to set all kinds of records. More than 441,000 fans this year in only 9 rounds have seen Supercross. And so Palmer and LaRocco break out in front. Number 5, LaRocco going wide. Palmer to the inside, but Mike LaRocco trying to take things over. On the inside, it's Eric Anderson, number 646.
Well, LaRocco and Palmer just in that drag race at the first corner. LaRocco tried to outdo him, but he had to go wide and give it up.
Matthew Bateman is in 4th as they start to string out now. You kind of expect LaRocco, after passing Cliff Palmer, just to string it out now and say goodbye to the rest of the field, ride nice and smooth, save some energy for the main event.
Right. You saw Larry Ward talking about being able to shake out a little bit of arm pump, get more time on the racetrack, because like he said, in practice, you don't get much of it. You're just trying to get the track dialed in, figure out what the best lines are going to be, jump everything. Then in the heat race, you start to race the track a little bit more. Then in the main, it's just whatever you got left. And Mike's one of the most fit guys out here. I know he's had a lot of injuries, but he still trains hard through him. He has a trainer. I would expect him to be pretty strong through the main event, no matter how much energy he puts out in the semi.
On the bubble is number 170, James Chamberlain. Jim Chamberlain from Santee, California.
Palmer hanging tight with LaRocco. Be a learning experience for him.
Going down is Chamberlain.
At the end of the whoop, got a little over anxious getting into the corner.
Number 170, Chamberlain. Just as we mentioned his name, he went down, and here is our leader, Mike LaRocco.
He's heading into a rhythm section. This guy's been skipping up on top of that plateau, over that jump, all the way over this. I don't think the track designers had that in mind, and certainly when I saw the track in practice, maybe it's been a little too long since I've been out there, because I had no idea that's the way they were going to do it.
You know, LaRocco, he and Albertine have been kind of sneaky, kind of waiting in the wings in this points battle as we take a look at the top 3 out in front. That being Emmett Henry, and whoa, look at that. Palmer clips the hay bale, and it takes him off the bike.
Just getting a little too close, trying to lay it in there. The handlebar caught that. He's still in a good position to make the main event, but he's lost sight of LaRocco. LaRocco with a huge lead. He's going by the other way now.
Matthew Bateman moving into 2nd place now as Palmer is up and running once again. Look at there.
You can see he laid it into the corner. These guys are cutting it closer and closer, and his front brake lever actually caught the banner on that hay bale and probably just pulled the front brake on.
Eric Anderson, as I correct myself, is now in 2nd place. Way out in front is Mike LaRocco. Time is running out for several riders trying to make the main event from the semifinal round.
It's over 8 feet long from one end to the other. And it makes you look for the farthest distance between 2 points. The new Valkyrie Tour. America's the boulevard it was born to cruise.
The Wall Street Journal keeps you on the cutting edge with news and insights that can affect you personally and professionally. Subscribe now and have the Journal delivered to your home or office. And with your paid subscription, you'll also receive our free personal finance software to help you make smart decisions. Get 10 weeks of the Journal and the software for only $3.90 a week. Call now, 800-346-5300. That's 800-346-5300 for the Wall Street Journal.
Now, the bike you want equals big-time bucks, correct? Incorrect. Do the math. During Suzuki Fest 97, get up to $500 in Suzuki accessories free with a selected Suzuki, like the awesome GSX-R 1100. You also get free accessories with the Katana 600 and 750 and the RF 900R. And choose from financing options like 0 down and 9.9% APR on selected models. But hurry, Suzuki Fest won't last. So you plus Suzuki equals, well, come on, add it up.
For 35 years, I did the sports in 4 minutes. Now you got this channel with breaking news, highlights, scores. You know, I was doing sports bloopers back then. Well, we used to call them goofy gaffes. Same garbage.
AMA Supercross on ESPN2 is being brought to you by Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. Quality training for the motorcycle industry.
In the Astrodome, semifinal number 2 underway. Here in Houston, Texas, Mike LaRocco way out in front. He's, of course, the most experienced rider of several riders that we haven't mentioned their names at all this year. In fact, we might find some riders making the main event for the very first time. Cliff Palmer is battling back in second place.
Finally got second back over Anderson.
Anderson from Oceanside, California, just trying to hang on. Things are a little rough for him right now. In back of him is the real battle. Matthew Bateman trying to hold everybody off.
Palmer reaching out for that clutch in the air to get a little burst of power to get over Thor Mountain right there. LaRocco continues to just build that lead, and he's got turning some pretty good laps here. I don't think he's given it everything he's got. You see the technique, wheeling over the first part of that camel, trying to jump all the rest. You know, he's been watching these other heats, learning as much as he can, and during this time, he's got to go out here for 6 more laps until he gets to the main. Might as well practice those moves.
Okay, with 2 laps to go, let's check in with Davey.
Thanks, Art. I'm down with Mr. LaRocco. Mike, I saw you keeping the stopwatch on. Mike, there's really not a lot for a mechanic to do in a race like this, is there?
No, there's not a lot you can do, and I want to give him a time so he kind of gives an idea where he's at.
How due is your son for a win?
He's overdue, and he's going to get it. He's going to get it soon.
Do you see those eyes?
Yes, I do.
His dad's going to will him into that winner.
Now you know where Mike LaRocco got his competitive spirit. I don't think it was from May.
Well,
May LaRocco is mom.
Mike's the type of guy that every time you line up on the starting line with him, he may not always be considered the biggest threat when you got McGrath and Emig out there and Henry the way he's been riding this year, but Mike can get a win at any time. I think Mike's dad wants it to happen tonight.
It just points up, too, that this is a family sport, David. I know you know that. You grew up through it with a family type of thing as we take a look at the final lap. And that's one of the reasons why I love this sport so much.
Well, I remember when I was just a kid, 13, 14 years old, when they first started having the Supercross here, my dad built a racetrack in here and also raced, and I was in the pits working on his bike, but too young to go out to the mechanics area.
Is that right?
Yeah. First time I ever saw Steve Wise race on a 250 Honda as a privateer. That was unbelievably fast. Saw Cars Makers, Jimmy Ellis, Marty Smith. A lot of history here in the Dome.
Well, this has been a great venue. Lots of wonderful fans here in Texas, and in fact, Louisiana. When we come up and see the future superstars, the 125s, Kevin Windham, of course, from Baton Rouge. He's got busloads full of fans and family here to root him on.
Not far to go for Mike now, and he'll get to go back and rest.
The checkers for Mike LaRocco. So the official top 5 results and a word from our winner in Semi 2 when we return to the Astrodome.
Exercise, nothing is more basic than dumbbells. Nothing is more versatile or more effective. Now Soloflex has improved on dumbbells, making them safer, convenient, and comfortable. Soloflex
presents Max Jerome, Private Eye.
When I saw her, my heart started pounding like a heavyweight speed bag until she started calling Collect without dialing 1-800-COLLECT.
You could be saving up to 44% by dialing 1-800-COLLECT, Angel. Let me show you how it's done.
It's so easy. Now let me show you how it's done.
Any Joe will tell you, 1-800-COLLECT is the easy way to save up to 44%.
41,000 plus fans here at the Astrodome have just seen 5 more Supercross riders qualify for the main event here in Houston. LaRocco leading the charge of Palmer, Anderson, Eichel, and Tilton. Let's go down to Davey Coombs, who's with Mike.
Mike, your dad says you're way overdue for a win.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, last year was a long year. This year, I feel a lot better on my Suzuki. It's working real well. So my shoulder's getting stronger. Should be any time now.
In almost all the races we've seen this year, you've been the fastest guy on the track from about lap 5 on. What do you got to do to get better on those first 5 laps?
Actually, I'm working on that. Like I said, my bike's working real well. I'm starting to feel strong again. And, tonight I didn't feel real good in my heat race, but I'm going to bring it around for the main event.
Maybe tonight will be the night, Mike.
I hope so.
From here, we go next week to the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. And then it's on to the Trans World Dome in St. Louis, where David Bailey stays out of freight elevators. On to Pontiac. Great Supercross tradition there. Texas Stadium is next. And then the season finale at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. And the way things are going, boy, that's where the title could be well decided. Let's take a look now at our Honda Flashback.
This week's Honda Flashback takes us all the way back to 1993. Houston, Texas, in the Astrodome, where Larry Brooks grabbed the hole shot, but was immediately pressured by number 8 Damon Bradshaw. Bradshaw, over the triple, takes the lead, but behind him, Jeff Stanton, number 1, was next to find his way around Larry Brooks. And number 15, Jeremy McGrath, in his rookie season on a 250, to the inside, follows his teammate into 3rd place. But the story was behind Jeremy McGrath. Number 7, Guy Airtime Cooper of Stillwater, Oklahoma, pretty close to his hometown, delighted the fans as he moved into 3rd place around McGrath and set his sights on Jeff Stanton. And the crowd went wild as Cooper was on a roll, moving past Jeff Stanton on the inside. Side by side off the triple, Cooper keeps it low and takes over 2nd. But time was running out to catch Damon Bradshaw, who had maintained a 5-second lead for most of the race. He cruised to his 3rd win in the Astrodome, but the crowd got their money's worth out of Guy Cooper's hard charge all the way to 2nd, ahead of Jeff Stanton.
Take a trip on Wednesday.
Retro Wednesday. Choice words, smoking jams, psychedelic retro action. Bell-bottom, glam, funk, disco satisfaction. The Day-glow synthesizer, television daydream. Technicolor, spastic, dancing, fashion, victim, tribal scene.
VH1's Retro Wednesdays. It's music to your eyes.
The new Dodge. To find the pickups that are #1 in sales growth in California, here's a hint.
California's truck stop,
You can out-drive, out-hustle, out-tough, out-muscle, out-tow, out-run, out-work, and out-fun. Show them what you got. From more available power to greater resale, Dodge Ram is #1 in more categories versus Ford, Chevy, and GMC. Ram's also California's coolest, thanks to air at no extra charge.
California's truck stop.
The new Dodge.
NBA Tonight, Tuesday through Saturday at midnight, only on ESPN2.
AMA Supercross is being brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the way we call collect today.
While we were away, the final 2 gate positions were filled for tonight's 250 main. Jason Frenette qualifying for the 2nd consecutive time in the 250s. And Tomohiro Sabiyama gets his first shot at 250 action, the first Japanese, I think, to make it to a main event in this current format, as Yoshitaka made the main event in Daytona. We take a look at the Suzuki Now's West standings. Kevin Windham is our leader by 10 points after David Villeman. Robbie Raynard trying to get back in the action after a 12th place finish in the last race at Minneapolis. Craig Decker will not be running tonight. He broke his arm in the preliminary qualifying action, and Decker will not be in the lineup. 125 Western Region riders are on the track now for their parade lap preceding the main event. Number 1, Kevin Windham, is on the track to reclaim his #1 plate, but Frenchman David Villeman has every right to be happy with his 125 premiere in the States.
I come here for maybe 1 or 2 podium, only to try to make 3rd place. So now I have 2 second place, 1 win, and so I'm very happy, and I want to try to win again. and to have a good start. I try this week to work on my start, and I think it's better now. And now I think if I start in top 3, I can win.
I gotta believe it's tough for a young man to leave his native land and come over to America and race, David Bailey.
Well, I don't really have any way to relate to that other than just going to Europe for a few races, and there's nowhere to ride. You don't know where to eat, where to stay. It takes a long time. I'm sure they're helping him as much as they can. He's probably palled up with some other riders to try to get an idea of where to get the job done, so he's ready on the weekend. But still, it's a real adjustment to do that and already pick up a win. That's pretty impressive.
Well, his great performance, a win, and also a third place. I should say 2 second places. Put him 10 points in back of the leader, and they brought him back from France to finish this season. He went 1-3 in the first round of the French Championships before he turned right around and came back to the United States. Let's go down to Davey Combs.
You know, you guys are talking about David Bielman. I spoke with him a little bit earlier, too, about some of the things that go through his mind as a French rider wanting to be in America. And he says in Europe they don't have things like the big semis, the television races like this and everything. It's the dream of every French rider to come over here. And right now he's the next Pichon, the next Bale, and there's some other kids over there that he says are just as fast. We'll have to keep an eye out for them in the years to come.
There's Kevin Windham just now getting into the gate. Number 1, trying to reclaim that number 1 plate for this year.
Kevin sure looked good in his heat race. Just pulled away from everyone. He was doing most of the obstacles the same way they're doing them in the 250 class. In fact, there's one section on the racetrack where he's the only guy able to get over the section. Villemin did it a little bit in his heat race, and it's really tough to tell. He didn't get a split between Villemin's and Windham's heat races, but it looked pretty dead even.
He's won every other race this year, so he's trying to break that string and win his second in a row right now. Kevin Windham, if he does win here in Houston, will become the first, the only 2-time winner in the 125s in the Houston Astrodome. 32nd board is up, so we're just moments away to see if Kevin Windham can add to his points lead, or will Villemin and Reynard put the challenge to him amongst other riders.
Plenty of guys that can challenge. Casey Johnson's one of them. Certainly Reynard's got the speed.
Corey Keeney has had good starts lately. Michael Brandis has had a good race or two this year. Willow comes off his best finish of the year.
The start makes all the difference. Not far to go now.
Okay, it's sideways. Any moment now. They're off. Who will win the $500 Hole Shot Award? Kevin Windham, number 1 on the inside.
You could tell from that shot as they left the gate, Windham got out clean and was gone.
Pedro Gonzalez, number 35. He's trying to muscle in for second place, along with 45, Jeffrey Willow. Number 24, Robbie Reynard, a great start. Robbie moving into third place now.
Robbie got a great chance. Get up there, he gets around into second place over Thor Mountain. Now we got a similar situation we saw early in the season at LA with Windham and Reynard out front. As long as Reynard doesn't let Windham get too far away in these early laps, I think he'll remain a factor. Arm pump caught him before, but I think he's over that now.
Reynard in the title hunt, tied for first in points until a disastrous 12th when he went down in lap 3 last week.
Villemin says he's been trying to work on his starts, and the start tonight may be the thing that cost him a victory. I don't see any way, unless something happens to Windham, where Villemin is, buried in about 10th place right now, that he has a shot at catching Windham. Start makes so much difference in these races, especially in the 125 class. As opposed to 250, it's only a 15-lap main event. That goes pretty quick.
And especially on this track, very quick times. Villemin has moved into 9th spot. And way out in front, a country Cajun mile, is Kevin Windham.
Well, it's a short country Cajun mile, though. Reynard's pretty close.
He's quick, and he can catch up on this track. Jeffrey Willow, number 45, trying to battle it out with 35 Gonzalez. Willow is just coming off a 5th place in Minnesota. He got a great start, and it was his best race of the year, matching with Daytona, but out in front, Gonzalez loses the spot to Willow.
Willow got aggressive.
Oh, Gonzalez comes back and pounds him. A little dirt right there.
Yeah, when you hear that's racing, well, that's the perfect example. Willow went in there, bumped a little bit to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez said, all right back at you.
In all honesty, though, as Casey Johnson gets ripped in the corner as well. In all honesty, Pedro Gonzalez has learned the hard way.
He has. We're going to take another look at what happened there. Going into the first turn, this was after Willow had already got in there, got a little aggressive. Gonzalez went back in there. Luckily, they didn't get hooked up and go down. Gonzalez was able to maintain that momentum on the inside and make that pass. I don't say it was clean, but he got around him.
Many times that Gonzalez has been making contact or has been made contact with, he's gone down. It was a good, strong move by him to see him stay in the race.
Casey Johnson's been getting bumped around. We saw him just at the back of that battle between Gonzalez and Willow. He's up to 5th. The leaders are gone.
It's Wyndham, Raynard, Gonzalez, Willow, and Johnson in that order. We'll be back in a moment.
1/900 pro race. Up to the minute race results now.
Bar to bars that go over the triple.
And Pingree right on his tail. Tries to box him out, does so.
Kevin Wyndham. Whoa!
You call 1/900 pro race. Bradshaw coming up now to challenge Doug Henry.
Oh, Pingree goes down with James Dobb.
1/900 pro race is absolutely the best.
Oh, what a bar-to-bar battle we've got going.
1/900 pro race, except no substitute.
Now you can walk into your Honda dealer and ride off with no down payment, low financing, and a custom watch. And best of all, you can ride off with a new Honda Magna or Shadow. The Honda ride-off ends May 31st.
I wanted a drafting career where I could draw more than just a good salary. Computers are the future of drafting, and I'm part of it. I trained in computer-aided drafting at ITT Technical Institute. ITT Tech could mean a successful future for you, too.
For an informative brochure, call ITT Tech at 1-800-942-0099. That's 1-800-942-0099.
The boys of summer are back, and they're better than ever. At 1 o'clock, the Big Herd and Company take on Toronto. At 4, Ryan Sandberg and the Cubs hook up with the new-look Marlins. Then, prime time at 8, the world champion Yankees begin their title defense against Junior in Seattle. White Sox Blue Jays at 1, Cubs Marlins at 4, Yankees Mariners at 8. The opening day triple header, Tuesday, only on ESPN.
Hi, I'm Greg Albertine for Team Suzuki. Today we're going to be looking at motocross apparel and safety gear. A helmet is obviously one of the most important safety products out there. You really don't want to fall on your head without that safety protection. Goggles are also very important. You need eye protection. Always when working with machinery, eye protection is used. Just the same in motocross. Dirt's flying up, you want to have your eyes protected. Gloves are also important. You don't want to fall on your hand and scratch your hands up, so that's why the leather on the inside offers that protection. Knee braces are also one of the most very important products out there. So many riders have injured their knees through twisting them and damaging them through racing. And knee braces just offer you that extra support you need, especially when landing from jumps and putting your foot down in ruts. Everybody who knows anything about motocross wants to know how your kidneys are. Well, that's why we wear kidney belts. Kidney belts help support your kidneys and just give your lower back that extra support it needs. Boots are also very important. So many times you're going through turns, putting your feet down, wide open straights, your foot comes off, something like that. You can hit a rock, a root, anything and break your toes. That's why we need very strong boots with good support. For this week's Suzuki riding tip, I'm Greg Albertine.
Welcome back to the Astrodome, the 125 main event. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs from this wonderful facility. The 125s are moving fast right now as number 24, Robbie Raynard out of Oklahoma, trying to catch up with the Cajun, Kevin Wyndham.
Right now he's losing about a half to a full second a lap. Kevin just keeps pulling away. Raynard's riding a great race. He's opened up a huge lead over Gonzalez, Willow, and Johnson behind him, but Kevin is just flawless out front. There you see Casey Johnson starting to move up to Willow. Willow's lost a little ground to Gonzalez, probably that bump in the first corner where he's at right now. Maybe took a little wind out of his sails, and he's trying to regroup. While he's trying to do that, he's got Casey Johnson closing fast.
Casey Johnson doing a nice job in the last race in Minnesota as well. As he hit the podium, a third place, backed up a second place in Seattle.
Casey having a time with his track in practice, said it was slick. Front end kept washing out. Getting it dialed in now. The track's changed quite a bit from practice.
You know, Casey is an interesting story. We were talking about Villeman working on his starts, but he is yet to really get a good start on the season. And he's got a second at Seattle and a third place.
Well, we know he can come through the pack.
Two third places.
Sure would be great to see him get a good start out front with Wyndham and Raynard, see what kind of battle that would shape up into.
Right now, he's trying to chase number 45, Willow, on the Honda of Troy machine.
Back into the first turn where the contact with Gonzalez took place. Johnson makes up a little bit of time here each lap.
Johnson looking for the opportunity.
And if he keeps focused on this battle right here, you can see Gonzalez just coming through the screen. He's right there too, so Casey could pull off a podium right here.
Casey Johnson makes the move on Willow. Great move. Villeman has now moved up to 7th spot. He's trying to collect some extra points with every move.
That corner before Thor Mountain is a tricky one, especially if you got a guy behind you, because Willow right there, if he'd have gone inside, wouldn't have been able to jump up over the hill. Johnson could have gone wide and got that extra momentum, so he decided to go wide. Johnson passed him on the inside.
Way out in front is number 1, Kevin Wyndham. You know, they started racing the 125s here in 1985 at the Astrodome. Eddie Warren on a Cowie was the first one. You remember Eddie?
I remember Eddie. I had a terrible night that night. I was leading it most of the way, and a couple laps to go, I hit neutral in a corner, didn't really realize it, time to put my foot down and fell over. Ended up third, dang it.
Alex Seymour, Wyndham's mechanic, putting out the sign, don't forget to breathe. You're so far out in front. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Allie, the only thing you're telling him is not to forget to breathe and just relax. You guys are on fire tonight.
Yeah, he's riding really good right now. He's staying smooth. He's kind of pulling away, so just got 8 more laps, and we'll see what happens.
Is there any special meaning for you and Kevin to win this race in Houston, being so close to Baton Rouge?
Oh, yeah, we have a lot of family and friends here, and I'd like to thank all those guys for coming a lot to us.
Every other race, Wyndham has had his problems. He's hoping to break that string tonight with a different approach.
The year has gone really good at times and really bad, and I'm just focusing on being consistent. And you know, so far my season's gone 1-8, 1-6, 1. So this is the weekend to come back with another win to kind of show that I'm breaking my streak of going 1 and having a terrible race. But consistency is what's going to do it for anybody who takes the championship. And Robbie had a bad weekend last weekend. He has been really consistent, and then all of a sudden he had one bad one. So that's where it's at, consistency, and just going out there and trying to take one race at a time.
The superstar of tomorrow learning what the run for a championship is all about. This used to be an East-West showdown. In fact, quite a few races. The East winning 5 times, the West 7 times. And this guy, Kevin Wyndham, was kind of sorry that they quit that, because he won 3 of the 4 East-West matchups last year against Mikel Pichon. Right now, our battle is on with Lytle and Willow. This is for 5th place.
Well, Willow has seen him ride a little bit better. Things aren't clicking for him tonight. Just one by one, guys are catching and going around him. But now there he goes wide again. Left the door wide open. But this is an example of what happens. You're still going to come out with a pretty good finish because you got a great start. Even if you're not riding on top of your game, you still come out pretty good in the end with a good start. Villeman is nowhere near these guys yet. And he's capable of beating both of them, I believe, here tonight.
On the Troy machine of Casey Lytle and the Team No Lean of Jeff Willow battling it out here under the Astrodome. So it's a pretty defined race right now.
Well, this is the only battle on the racetrack right now, which now that he's gotten around Willow, I don't know if that's going to be much of a battle any longer. There's no one back there after Willow. Wyndham continues to stretch that lead over Raynard, and I think Raynard at this point has just realized, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to catch this guy tonight. Let me just hang on, finish second, be smart, hopefully work on things for the next round and try to come back and beat this guy before he gets too confident.
Villeman has gone down, so he slips further back in the points race.
See a rut there starting to develop in that corner after the finish line. getting bumpy in the bottom. You sit down on the motorcycle and lay it into those ruts, and as you gas it out, you hit about 4 or 5 of those holes. Jars you, and it's going to get rougher for the 250s coming up.
Kevin Windham, who had such a great string of victories last year to win this title, the 125 West, as we take a look at the Honda stopwatch to give you an idea just how far back the very fast Robbie Raynard is. It's about 9 seconds back. Number 24.
And it's a long ways back to third now, too. But, you know, on a night like this where Kevin is just so perfect and not making any mistakes, and with the start that he got, I think there's not much more that Raynard can hope for other than just try to get the points for second and improve in the rounds to come.
Here's the battle between Lytle and Willow going by 30 seconds after the leader. And if you think that's a long way back, Villeman, he's riding for pride. He's in 16th.
I think he just wants to get some points at this stage in the race. That's what happens with a bad start. You get back there and you're running with guys that you don't normally run with, and you're not sure what they're going to do, and sometimes that can, you get magnetized into what everyone else is doing. You start riding their pace, and leaders just take off.
Kevin Windham came into this race wanting consistency.
1 minute lap time. That's a little bit slower. Earlier he was running 58-second lap times in his heat race in practice, but right now he has no reason to push that. He can run a minute all night long, and if he has to pick it up, he can.
So Kevin Windham out in front, trying to become the first two-time 125 winner in the Astrodome.
The bike you dream about means serious cash, right? Wrong, people. Do the math. During Suzuki Fest back.
Welcome back to the Astrodome. The 125 main event is underway. And there is a very unhappy David Villeman back up on the track. At last report, he was in 15th.
Well, he looked so good in his heat race earlier. And you can see right here, he's behind these guys, and he gets around them both in one swoop, but really slowed up his momentum. If he'd been running alone, been able to jump all the way into that corner and jump up over Thor Mountain. So that's the difference being in traffic or being out front where Windham is.
Okay, down on the track side is Davey Coombs. Let's check in with Davey.
Thanks, Art. I'm with Brent. David is Millman's mechanic. What's going on with David? He's having a horrible night.
I've sort of noticed. He got out the gate not too good. So far, he's fallen down twice. So hopefully he can regain himself and start catching up again.
Thanks.
Villeman came into this race second in points. That'll disappear as Robbie Raynard continues to look strong. And here's the battle for third. Casey Johnson is making a move. Number 35 is Pedro Gonzalez. Kawasaki of Mexico. Casey Johnson, the pro circuit rider who's had so many good races lately. Over that finish line jump, you get a good idea how high in the air they actually get.
Well, they could jump over a box van sitting down in between those two. And Casey Johnson went in there and tried to do a pretty aggressive pass. That's where we saw Willow try to get around Gonzalez earlier. Didn't pan out, and he almost wasn't able to get over the finish line jump. If he catches back up to Gonzalez at this point now, as he's lost a little bit of time, it's going to be tough for Gonzalez to the finish line because Johnson's got it.
Pedro Gonzalez, who once ended up in the 125 West, second in points, and then had some injuries. It took away from his performance, and he's been trying to recover ever since. A broken leg while practicing in Monterrey, Mexico, his hometown, didn't help anything. But right now, this is a gutsy performance by Pedro Gonzalez.
He's hanging tough. He's had pressure, and he's had to muscle his way into the position he's at.
Could Casey Johnson be picking up something on the tires? Let's have Davey check as he goes by. We got a report from one of the corner workers that Casey Johnson might be having trouble with a tire. Anyway, here's Pedro Gonzalez starting to pull away a little bit more.
I think it may just be where they paint the brand of the tire on there. You see that white spinning around.
That could be.
Of course, if I say it right now, it'd be a tire commercial. I'll leave that one alone, but that's what they do.
Casey Johnson with a third in the first race of the year, a second in Seattle, a third in Minnesota. Trying to catch up with number 32, I should say number 35, Pedro Gonzalez. This is Casey Johnson. Lots of potential for the future in that lab.
Now, he's a young kid, and he's learning a lot. And I know that Mitch Payton is a great guy to have in your ear at that age. And he's got a long ways to go. I'm sure he's going to win some races before it's over with.
It's the white flag lap. Can Kevin Windham hold on, stay upright for his fourth victory of the year?
Art, I don't think it even matters if he stays upright.
He can still get up and win it, eh?
No problem. Here's the heel clicker. You can see that coming. The crowd's on its feet. They would have been mad at him if he didn't do it. It's got to be a great feeling to win like this in front of all your friends.
Well, every race that Kevin Windham has won this year, he has just absolutely run away from everyone. The heel clicker once again. Thrilling the 41,000-plus fans here in the Astrodome. Robbie Raynard has run a terrific race. It looks like Kevin Windham is just in another class.
Tonight he is, that's for sure.
The final lap underway. Windham cruising. He's on the corner. Here's the checkers.
Oh, that's amazing. Just upside down.
His second consecutive win on the season, his fourth victory of the year, and his second consecutive victory, the only one to ever win 2 in a row in the 125 ranks here in the Astrodome. Number 1, Kevin Windham. What a performance. And he certainly didn't disappoint his fans, and neither did Pedro Gonzalez, who has a big following, of course, from the crowd here in the Houston, Texas area.
Well, he fought off a hard-charging Casey Johnson right there at the end, and I think that was all Casey had left. Once he wasn't able to make that pass stick, Gonzalez got a little shot in the arm and cruised his way into a podium.
Wyndham, Raynard, Gonzalez, Johnson, Lionel, Willie, and Curry. The ones we have in the order. We'll get to the official top 10 and a trip to the podium with Davey Coombs next.
Now you can walk into your Honda dealer and ride off on a champion. The CBR 600 F3. Walk in and ride off on the best 600 sport bike. Walk in soon and ride off with a custom watch. The Honda Ride-Off ends May 31st.
Hey, Vince, there's a big old juicy Honda sitting on an ATV in the mud over there. You suppose he's stuck?
I hope so. I'm starving. Wait a minute. That's a Suzuki King Quad. Selectable 204-wheel drive, 5-speed transmission, 3-speed sub-tranny? Nah, I've yet to see one get stuck.
Then what's he doing just sitting there?
Looks like he just stopped to...
Reload!
The Suzuki King Quad. More features than your friend's ATV.
I'm a soft-spoken kind of guy. There's nothing more important to me than a quiet chat with my son, Shaquille. I just marched to the phone and dialed 1-800-COLLECT. The money I saved him, he can use to buy some new backboards. Take it to the hole, Shaquille.
He's gonna
And they wonder where he gets it from.
1-800-COLLECT. Save the people you call up to 44%.
Kevin Windham will stand proud on that victory podium here in Houston, Texas, as his family looks on, his grandmother, his mom and dad, his friends. Davey's with him right now. It's got to be Smile City down there at Victory Podium.
There was a lot of people out there cheering for those heel clickers. You gave them what you wanted tonight.
Yeah, man, you have to, or I have to when I come to Houston, man. All my relatives, everything, every one of my friends from Louisiana comes here, and it makes me feel really good to race this race every time, and I just try as hard as I can to get the win for all these people that come and cheer me on.
Well, that's about as perfect of a main event as we've seen this year. I'm going to give you this $500 check from 1-900 Pro Race. From the start on, man, you were in complete control.
Yeah, I felt really good. This is the second week in a row for this 1-900 Pro Race deal, so I'm really happy to get it, but I'm going to forward it on to the Clayton Foundation. You know, that's for a good cause, and I'd like to thank 1-900 Pro Race for giving me the opportunity to give it to those guys.
All right, finally, I know I probably don't even have to ask you about this. Feel comfortable about the championship?
It's not over till it's over. You know, I've had some bad races this year, and since I've been taking it one after another, you know, it's been going really good for me, so that's all I can ask for.
All right, congratulations, Kevin. And now we got the second place finisher, Robbie. a pretty quiet second place. You rode good, but Wyndham just had more than you had tonight.
Yeah, all year long I've been having so much trouble with the arm pump, and the same thing out there. I go home and I can ride motos, no problem. It's just, I think it's in my head more than anything. I just got to try to go out there and just kind of figure it out next year, I guess. I got another couple races, and I just hope I can figure out then and come in next year without having that problem, because I know I have a speed. I just got to figure my arm pump out.
You got one more race to go after Wyndham. Can you do it?
Yeah, I got quite a while to get ready for it, so I'm going to just keep on going as hard as I can and hopefully get this mental thing out of my head and try to figure it out. But I just got to figure it out. That's all I have to say.
Well, you still have to be satisfied with second tonight.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'd like to be winning. I haven't won one of these yet, and I want to before the year's out. Kevin's been riding really good, so it's just I'm going to really have to do a really good job to beat him.
Okay, Robbie Raynert, though, can be proud that he's on his way to finishing a first full season in Supercross and 125 action. And as he moves up past Villeman, he still is 19 points behind Kevin Wyndham. So Wyndham has not won the 125 Western Division. It has to go to Dallas, Texas Stadium. Down in the winner's circle, they continue to celebrate. We'll be back with the big guns. The 250s are coming up next from Houston.
Hi, folks. Here we go again with another great offer. Why do we say we're Orange County's headquarters for quality and value? Who else can give you 2 quality Mitsubishis for the price of 1? You heard me right. Take advantage of our special factory finance and lease programs on any of our Eclipses, Galants, Diamantes, Monteros, and even the all-new exciting Montero Sport, as well as 0% financing on any of these quality Mitsubishis, and get a quality Mitsubishi color TV at no extra cost. But only at Giant Costa Mesa Mitsubishi, Harbor Boulevard, 1 mile south of the 405.
The wait is over. Superman, the escape. Up to 100 miles per hour. 41 stories. And a heart-stopping backwards plummet. Superman, the escape. World's tallest, world's fastest, world's only.
NHL tonight, Tuesday through Saturday at 11:30 or after the game, only on ESPN2.
Welcome back to one of Supercross's most famous venues, the Houston Astrodome. Hello, everybody. Art Ekman along with David Bailey. We've had 5 different winners this year, 10 different guys on the podium. We've got one of the tightest points races that we've seen in years, David.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the pits, it's get nervous time. Each Emig and Henry and McGrath, 6 points separating these guys. The title's on the line, and that call comes, first call to the staging area for the main event, and just you get the butterflies, and the start is so critical tonight. In the first heat, we saw such good action between Henry and McGrath, Henry battling by him. But then in the second heat, Emig's heat was a little quicker, and he had Bradshaw in tow, who's won here 3 times. It's going to be close.
The Suzuki points list shows how close it really is. Emig by 4 over Henry. McGrath just 6 points off the pace and climbing. Even Albie and LaRocco are not out of the top 3. And these guys have been through championship runs before, whether it be 250s or 125 action.
Makes it interesting, especially for a guy like me, because I'm sitting in a points chase. You know, I got everything to lose. Everybody else has everything to gain.
I've caught up in the points, and it's close now. And now we're going to see if anyone can stay up there or they're going to buckle.
You know, it's just like starting out at the first race, actually, because we're all so close. So I think now is the time to be strong mentally, and we'll see who's got it.
Let's see what it's like down at trackside now. Davey Coombs, come on in, Davey.
I've been watching all night. We've been watching the track breakdown and everything. Right, like we said, we had that first heat race. It was very close, but beyond that, the guy who got the start pretty much took off with it. This is the kind of track where you get a breakaway. You have to ride defensively if someone's behind you. So we'll watch the 250 main event. If someone gets a hole shot, gets a little bit of room, it's going to be a lot of trouble for these guys.
Taking a look at the starting grid. There you see it, the Suzuki starting grid. Greg Albertine, Bradshaw, Bradshaw's done so well on this track in the past, and as you mentioned earlier in the qualifying rounds, David Bailey, I think he might have saved up a little bit for this one.
Well, I think he did. He charged after Emig in the early going of the heat race, and Emig's heat race turned out to be a little quicker. Of course, that doesn't always mean a lot, since these guys tend to save a little bit and not burn themselves out in the heat race. But Bradshaw looked focused. He took last weekend off. I know he's ready and looked fast enough in the heat race. They can do that for 20 laps.
Doug Henry, an amazing performance with Jeremy McGrath that brought the fans here 41,000 strong right out of their seats in the first qualifying heat, getting a last shot at practicing that traction before he gets back. And the traction is very good here in Houston. We've seen very, very few slipping.
There's a lot of traction out there. This soil is notorious for being sticky, and Henry was the last guy to pull up to the gate. I used to do that on purpose during the parade laps. I didn't want to pull back up there and have to sit there all that time while everybody filed in.
Before he pulls in right next to Jeff Emig, and here are the eyes of Jeremy McGrath. Can he win 2 in a row after going so long, winning his first race of the season? Never went 7 races before winning.
It looked to me like last weekend something just clicked, and part of that decision, and I was talking with his mechanic Wyatt, and he felt the same way, was that in the first lap, Emig had the whole shot, but Jeremy got in there and bumped Emig out of the way, and it totally looked like it threw Emig off of his rhythm, and Jeremy went on, and it looked like he found what he needs. And the guy that can win 13 in a row, I don't think it's too hard for him to win 2 in a row.
Jimmy Button getting his last second instructions. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Kind of off his game. I think one of the problems is he injured his arm at the Outdoor National Games, so it took him a couple rounds to get his stuff back, and I saw in that heat race he had a great line where he passed Jeremy McGrath. Very curious to see if he can hit that same line 20 times in a row. It's a complicated line, not a lot of room for error there.
That's a good point. He may not have to hit that line 20 times, but it's still a tricky section just to do once. Jeremy wasn't doing it. I'm sure he's going to make that correction before the main, especially if he's got Henry back there again.
It's $1,000. Whoever hits that chalk line out of turn 1 first. We've got a long straightaway and almost a sweeper as far as turn number 1 is concerned.
And right out of that into a whoop section. It's broken up by a double jump. In that whoop section, Jeremy was doing something a little different. You may see that in the main event. He was jumping the completely opposite timing of everyone else. And there you see how far it is to that first corner for these guys.
We're almost set to go. The fans are on their feet now right before us, and they're off. Who will get the whole shot now? Number 10 is Bradshaw to the outside, and the inside is Henry. Oh, it looked like a tie. Bradshaw, though, takes the lead. Henry in second. Larry Ward in third. It's Ezra Lusk in fourth with Jeremy McGrath and Jimmy Buttonette. McGrath is now in 5th spot.
Unbelievable. Bradshaw flew into that first corner. He hit that berm so hard he almost moved it. He's won here before, and he looked good in that heat race. But he's got Henry behind him. Henry was very creative in the heat race against McGrath, finding a way by.
One thing we didn't mention, Michael Craig, who's won Supercrosses before. There's Dalby. Dalby went down and tries to restart, finishing second in his last 2 races, as you see on the screen. I don't have to read that for you. He tries to get back into the action now. It's Bradshaw out in front, but Henry right on his tail. Larry Ward, a surprising third, especially after having to win a semi to get into the main event. That's happened before, though. Albie did it the first race of the year, coming out of the semifinal round to win a Supercross race.
Bradshaw is looking so aggressive right now. He's starting to open up a little distance over Henry and Ward. Bradshaw looking like he did when he was winning 9 races in a season. You can see his elbows are up. He's over the front of the bike. He's charging everywhere, and he's really on the power hard as he comes down off the jumps, trying to get away from these guys.
The question I would ask you, David Bailey, coming off a very bad case of the flu, does he have the energy to hold on for the whole race?
Well, we're going to find out pretty soon, but I know that it had to help him taking last weekend off from Minneapolis to try to get healthy for this week.
Our points leader, Emig, is in 7th place. Right now, Damon Bradshaw, tight corner there for the top 5. It's Henry, Ward, Lusk, McGrath. McGrath bumping the back fender. Jeremy might be thinking, I got to make my new move pretty soon. I don't want to get Bradshaw too out in front.
Right, also he's got Henry up there in second, so he's keeping tabs on him. There's Jeremy. Watch this. He jumps over the double jump, then he jumps from the second one into the whoop section. The only guy doing it. He can do it every lap clean, doesn't waste any energy there.
Lusk is not giving in to him, though. Oh, what a battle we've got here in Houston. Damon Bradshaw, who's won 3 times. And there's Henry taking the lead. Bradshaw coming right back off the mountain.
That Thor Mountain has proved to be a great place to pass. The corner going in, and if you blow it, the guy, if you pass, squares it and jumps back over the top of you. Here comes Henry again.
Henry just won't give up. He is fully healed, that's for sure. McGrath has gone down.
And Larry Ward coming in there, gets stuck on a hay bale. He tried to make the pass. He gets going, but he loses a couple of spots. Lusk and looks like Button went around him.
So our new leader is Doug Henry, and if he stays in this position, he could be our new points leader. Damon Bradshaw in second place, Ezra Lusk in third, with Jimmy Button in fourth. Then Emig is moved up to fifth. It's LaRocco in sixth, and then Jeremy McGrath in seventh place.
Bradshaw's a fighter, don't forget. He's not letting Henry get away. Bradshaw's the kind of guy that can, especially when he can smell a victory like this, to get in there and get aggressive. That's how he earned his name, the Beast from the East, getting in there and rubbing elbows with people, and he'll do this to Henry in the closing stages if he's close enough.
One of his last wins was right here in 1993. His last win was in Atlanta that same year. Henry, Bradshaw, Lusk, Emig, and Button are top 5, with Jeremy McGrath trying his best to get into that top 5.
Look at Bradshaw, he's still close. Now Lusk is on the back of Bradshaw, so Bradshaw is a Team Yamaha sandwich at the moment.
Henry looks so fast in practice. And then to have that bar-to-bar banging battle with McGrath and come out on top, had to really push him to the favorites role.
Emig knows where he's sitting. He can see all these guys right in front of him. There's Emig's view up to the leader. If he stays where he's at, it's going to be very close. He may lose the points lead here tonight if he can't move up a spot.
Bradshaw looks like he wants to make a move on number 20, Doug Henry. He's starting to inch up, looking for his spot now. Damon Bradshaw is going to challenge. Ezra Lusk in third has dropped back a little bit. Now Bradshaw, they bunch up into that corner.
Bradshaw Art has got that rare ability that I've seen from Johnson, I've seen from Hanna, where you're riding a certain pace, the guy catches and passes you. Usually that's it. He just starts to pull away slowly. Bradshaw will readjust his pace, ride with more adrenaline, more determination, and come right back.
They could have scraped some paint on that one. Henry, Bradshaw, Lusk, Emig, Button, and McGrath are ordered. They fly by a lapper who's down. Bradshaw, mistake. Lusk, bar-to-bar now with him. And here comes Emig. Emig now makes the pass on Bradshaw. Damon not willing to give up, though. Damon Bradshaw on the inside.
Now he tried to stop and prevent Emig from squaring it and getting over the top. But Emig just planned a little bit better. So one tiny mistake for Bradshaw. He was knocking on the door of Henry. Now he sits in fourth, and Button's breathing down his neck.
Back and forth we go, but still, it's Henry out in front with Lusk in second place. A run for the checkers is on right now. As you can see, every move means valuable points as this Supercross season heads down the stretch.
The Honda 4Trax 300 4x4, the Foreman 400, and the Honda Recon, a 250 that's all new from the ground, mud, and slime up. You could go to the ends of the earth and never find better ATVs. We know. We've been there.
ESPN and NHRA are your ticket to all the action. Live on pay-per-view, the Pennzoil Nationals from Virginia, Sunday, April 27th. Call your cable company or satellite provider and order now for just $14.95. You'll go trackside to meet the drivers, catch all the highlights and instant replays, and get the complete stats on every run. It's just like being there. The Pennzoil Nationals, Sunday, April 27th, 10:30 to 6. Call now to catch all the action.
And Doug Henry hold on for his third win of the season and retake the points lead in this fantastic 1997 Supercross season. Ezra Lusk, Mike, give him a chance, though.
Ezra Lusk is sneaking up to Henry.
Yes.
We've seen Henry in the past few weeks, because of that arm that he injured at the Gainesville National, look great in the beginning and then start to fade a little bit. You can see this freight train of riders right behind him.
Oh, Ezra Lusk cuts to the inside, but Henry has the edge. This is anybody's race, really, of these four riders out in front.
And guess who's right there coming into the corner behind Bradshaw, and that's number 1, McGrath. This guy knows how to finish a race.
Moving by Jimmy Button into 5th place. So it's Henry, number 20. Number 11, Lusk, looks over the shoulder the wrong way as Jeff Emig, number 3, in 3rd position.
This will be interesting to see what happens in the corner. Lusk will try to stop him. Didn't work.
Nice cut by Emig in 2nd place.
What an amazing ride from Emig. I've seen him ride from the hole shot and win. I've seen him finish on the podium. Look at that. Doesn't waste any time.
Incredible. Jeff Emig, what a performance. You know, we used to see him get out in front with hole shots, 5 of the last 8 rounds. He did not get the hole shot today. He's showing some real character in class right now.
He wants to keep that points lead. Things stay the way they are. It looked a moment a few laps ago like he was going to lose it. Now he's putting points on everybody with Lusk in between himself and Henry. Back to Jeremy. That's going to give him another couple of points boost.
With Jeremy Albrecht, Emig's mechanic is Davey Coombs.
Actually, I was down here with Jeremy, but there's so much commotion going on down here. We lost him. But one thing I want to tell you guys, Jeremy McGrath had a run-in with either Larry Ward or Jimmy Button over there. His left sleeve is rolled up. It looks like his clutch lever might be bent, but the kid's charging. He looks like he's on it. Keep it on.
Look at that, Jeremy McGrath.
There you can see his shirt sleeve as he reaches up to pull a tearaway, clear that vision after making the pass.
Jeremy McGrath does not want to get... Oh, and Henry is down. As we told you, anything can happen.
Looked like he was holding his arm, his left hand, he's looking at it. Sometimes you smash your hand like that and it goes numb completely, making sure his fingers are still there. What a bad break for Doug. Oh!
Jeff Emig out in front, Ezra Lusk in 2nd, and Henry goes down again.
Just as he started to take off, that was my reaction. I was watching him try to go, and he hung up on the center of that jump, went right over the handlebars.
Bradshaw went down with him. Jeremy McGrath is now in 3rd. It's the points leader, Jeff Emig, in 1st. Ezra Lusk in 2nd. Jeremy McGrath in 3rd. And coming on strong is Mike LaRocco.
Devastating in the points battle for the championship for Henry right now. It looks like he's not going to score any. Maybe a point for 20th, but he's riding around very slow at the tail end.
Oh, that's too bad for Doug Henry, that's for sure, because Doug was such a competitor in the thick of the 250 points race.
It's not over yet. Lusk is all over Emig. You can see McGrath lost a little bit of time to that lead group, but in the next couple laps will be the story. If Jeremy can close that gap a little bit, it'll be a 3-way fight to the checkered flag. I can't wait for that.
Let's go back to Davey.
Okay, I got Jeremy now. Jeremy, you're telling Jeff there's a lot of action going on behind him.
Well, I'm not telling him anything. You know, he just came from the back. He knows what speed they're going. He just passed him. Lusk is riding good, but they should kind of follow and get up down. But anyway, you know, he knows he's there and he knows what to do, and he already got there. So I'm not going to tell him anything.
Ezra Lusk trying to catch up on Jeff Emig coming off the big mountain, the Thor Mountain. He's only 3 bike lengths away right now. You know, Lusk has looked good, and if it weren't for a couple of double-digit results, he'd be in the thick of things in a points race. Ezra Lusk climbs up on Jeff Emig's back tire.
Now he's rubbing the back tire. Emig can feel that, and what set that up was Emig got into a bunch of lappers there and really had nowhere to go, and that allowed Lusk to capitalize.
Lusk and Jeremy McGrath able to get by the lappers quicker. Let's go back trackside.
Okay, I'm down here with Yamaha. They're having a fire drill down here. Doug Henry pulled in. His hand's bleeding. His left hand looks like he really crashed hard on it. They tried to straighten the bike out, and I think Henry's done for the night. This is devastating Yamaha's title hopes.
Oh, is it ever? Doug Henry, who had such a valiant performance in the early going. As you see there, very disappointed walking off. A second in Los Angeles in the opening round. He won the next round, a sixth. A win then coming up in Seattle. A third place followed. He was number one in the points. And then bad luck has struck him down here in the Astrodome.
That's unfortunate, too. Right in the corner that they just came out of. Went into that. He went down, then crashed again, trying to get going. I don't think that caused any trouble. I think the damage was already done. But that's going to drop him way back. Any chance of grabbing the title with the way that Jeremy is starting to come on and the way Emig is coming into his own this year, those guys will be really tough to catch.
This could be a very big win for Jeff Emig. He's already leading Jeremy McGrath by 6 points coming into this race. If Jeremy McGrath were second behind him, he'd still pick up 3 more.
Right, as it stands, if Lusk can stay where he's at, he just made a big mistake, though, in that whoops. Saw the front end shake. It looked like his hand almost came off the handlebar, but he regained control, and that's going to be a 5-point gap if Jeremy stays where he is as we start the Honda stopwatch.
He's only 3 seconds back. All kinds of time, all kinds of laps. There goes Button number 18.
Button having another good ride, and so is Larry Ward.
And here's Damon Bradshaw, fading 16 seconds back of the leader.
Through all of this, we've maybe overlooked LaRocco a little bit. LaRocco looking strong in fourth. You know, he didn't get the best start either, but he's ridden good through all the fighting and bar banging and guys going down, and it's continued to run in that 4th, 5th, 3rd place, consistent.
This is Lusk's best performance, I think, of the year. Even during the time he took his 2nd place behind Doug Henry, he was riding Henry's lines, and it was almost like practice to him. But right now, he's keeping up with one of the greatest riders in this game today, Jeff Emig. Jeremy McGrath now is starting to move a little closer to Ezra Lusk.
There you get it. 57 seconds. Quite a bit quicker than the 125. This is a fast pace right now, and if Lusk goes wide the next lap with Jeremy that close, Jeremy's going to go in there and take it away from him.
Jeremy McGrath with more podiums, 6 podiums, than any other rider on the track here tonight. Let's go down to Davey Coombs, who's with Wyatt Seals.
Wyatt, I saw you just found the board for him to run Emig down, but he's got a little problem with Ezra Lusk first.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he doesn't focus too much on Ezra, I mean, that's what I'm trying to get him to do, to look past him. Sometimes you focus too much on one guy, it gets tough to get around him. So if he can look past him, see Jeff, maybe run him down, I hope he'll, get past Ezra this lap.
Well, Ezra is certainly riding in a sandwich between the 2 best riders in the world at the moment. This would be a big boost for him, even if he wasn't able to get the win over Emig. If he held on to 2nd like this, you see Button and Larry Ward out in the top 5. This would be a good confidence booster for Ezra. He's been down on the ground the last few weeks. He could have had a lot better finish, better standings in the points if he hadn't had those crashes. But he's been riding fast all year.
LaRocco having a horrible time in the whoop section on the near side of the track. And Larry Ward and Button able to take advantage of that situation right now as we take a look at Ezra Lusk in 2nd place. Ezra's run a flawless race so far.
He's got a long ways to go, about 6 more laps. This is the point in the race when you start to get a little bit tired and the tiniest things start to bother you. These guys do as much as they can to keep their goggles clean, but what you don't realize is that all that sweat building up inside is if you land too hard or make a mistake on the racetrack, that explodes on your lens and is trying to look through a leaky diving mask for the rest of the race with the pressure of McGrath breathing down your neck. Not easy to do.
4th place is Jimmy Button, as Ezra Lusk now has dropped 4 seconds behind Jeff Emig, and McGrath is 7 seconds off the leader's pace.
And Button, not too far, as he comes out of that corner. You can see Jeremy entering this corner right here before Thor Mountain, having another great ride. It doesn't look like he's going to make the podium unless he can get around Jeremy, but who knows? We saw Henry go down just when he looked like he had everything in control.
Larry Ward in 5th place.
He and Button having the battle they had in the heat race, and then in the semi it was close again. Larry Ward winning that battle through this little chicane here. This time following Button.
A lot of Honda fans were really hoping Larry Ward could do the trick here today, or Damon Bradshaw on the Manchester Honda, because Steve Lamson was unable to race tonight. Team Honda's Steve Lamson, their only 250 rider, went home. He was sent home after a practice crash And, of course, he came into practice yesterday with sore ribs and a bruised lung out of the crash he had the week before. A really dangerous crash at Minnesota.
Now is a battle shaping up behind these guys. Brian Swink is starting to put on a good charge and catch up to Mike LaRocco. Everyone else is starting to spread themselves out pretty good. It doesn't look like Jeremy is making up any time on Lusk, if anything, losing it right now.
Well, the wonders of this race right now, Jeff Emig did not get the greatest of starts. And we're used to seeing him getting hole shots and holding on to the lead for his 3 previous wins. This shows us a total new picture of Jeff Emig.
Well, it's that desperation, and it's what you get. You get the best from yourself when you're under the most pressure in the tightest points race, when there's such title like the Supercross. It's so important at stake. Jeff is starting to get the best from himself, and this is going to give him a boost of confidence for the rest of the season and another little bit bigger points lead over McGrath.
Well, one of the year's greatest stories, Doug Henry coming back for wins after that tremendous surgery. And, of course, a lot of fans out there wondering about his condition right now. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Thanks, Art. I got a chance to talk to Mike Europe from Yamaha's Motocross team. He told me that Doug had a severe cut on his hand, which we saw in the picture, but he says it looked like it might be broken too. Doug was having a hard time holding it, and you know, Henry's a champion. He went out here holding his head up, but I can tell that he's hurt. That's going to mean a lot as the season goes on.
There's Mike LaRocco.
I didn't get a chance to see what was wrong, but it looks like he can't get the bike into neutral. The rear wheels is skidding. He may have had a transmission problem. That's what is allowing everyone to catch up and get around him, but no points for him either. So for he and Henry.
Rich Winkler.
Yeah, there's the track designer right there, Rich Winkler. He's the one that puts all this together along with Mark Barnett and a number of other guys that help out there on the dozers to keep this track exciting, not breaking down during the races over the main. These bikes tear it up so much in the corners. Not necessarily at this racetrack, but at others, they have to put down plastic, then plywood, then plastic again, then dirt. They get all the way down into the plywood.
Right now, Jeff Emig, number 3, wanting to extend his points lead, looking for his 6th career victory. 1 lap remains. And Jeff Emig is just a short distance away from his 4th win of the season. And he keeps alive, don't forget, a winning streak of every other race since his first win in Phoenix.
I'll be anxious to see if he remembers that at the end when he's getting interviewed, providing that he holds on to this. Lusk is about 4 seconds back. He would have to hope for a big mistake from Emig.
Lusk could equal his best finish on the season, a 2nd place in Los Angeles. He got the whole shot in that race, and a very depressed and frustrated Mike LaRocco.
Now he's been so consistent and trying to charge back from shoulder injury and get the bike dialed in. Had a 2nd place once this year and really dying for a win. So is his dad. We saw that earlier, and not tonight.
Jeremy McGrath still in 3rd place. The checker flag for Jeff Emig. What a performance from Emig. Ezra Lusk taking 2nd place. Jeff Emig also becomes the first rider to win both a 125 race and a 250 title here in Houston.
Pretty wild finish line annex there from Lusk. He jumped off the side of the bike. You can see how excited Emig is.
In the last race, he got the whole shot, but he had trouble with the speed of Button and the persistence of McGrath. And right now, he didn't get the whole shot. But the most important thing, he adds to his point total as tops here in 1997. Okay, it'll be interesting discussing this race with the participants, McGrath and company, along with Jeff Emig, when we get back.
Get ready for the thrill of your life. AMA Supercross Live. A Saturday night you'll never forget. AMA Supercross Live. The guts and the glory of the best riders in the world. AMA Supercross Live. Feel the rush of the most extreme sport on the planet. Live. AMA Supercross. The 1997 flight to the finish. Live it live.
Now, the bike you want equals big-time bucks, correct? Incorrect. Do the math. During Suzuki Fest 97, get up to $500 in Suzuki accessories free with a selected Suzuki, like the awesome GSX R1100. You also get free accessories with the Katana 600 and 750 and the RF 900R. And choose from financing options like 0 down and 9.9% APR on selected models. But hurry, Suzuki Fest won't last. So you plus Suzuki equals, well, come on, add it up.
For 35 years, I did the sports in 4 minutes. Now you got this channel with breaking news, highlights, scores. You know, I was doing sports bloopers back then. But we used to call them goofy gaffes. Same garbage.
You're lucky. At least, you're not a goalie. The Lightning and Panthers tomorrow at 7:30. The NHL on ESPN2.
AMA Supercross on ESPN2 has been brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. And by Honda. Between now and May 31st, you can get a great deal on a great bike during the Honda Ride-Off. Honda, walk in, ride off. For the first time since '94, Kawasaki has won 5 races in a season. They've got a great shot at their all-time season record of 6, set back in 1987. And with the flag bearer now of the Kawasaki team, with the vast majority of those wins, is Davey Coons. Davey?
Jeff, you told us before that it's hard to hold that Kawasaki 10 up all by yourself, but you just keep doing it. Congratulations on another win.
Yeah, thanks. That win felt really good, you know, because I came from behind. Came out the gate awesome, and when I went to shift, I kicked it into neutral. And I was just shaking my head like, oh, great. $1,000 from 1/900 Pro Race out the door.
Now, I know that you weren't aware of what was going on because we talked to J-Bone, but there was all kinds of action going behind you. Henry DNF, Albertine crashed early, LaRocco DNF. It's a 2-man race. It's you and McGrath.
Yeah, I don't even know who got second.
Ezra Lusk.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's good that I got some points in between me and Jeremy and all that stuff, but I'm just more than happy to have Kawasaki and Bridgestone up here on the top of the podium again this week. And man, I'd like to just thank everybody, you know, Shift, Arnett, Goggles, Shoei Helmets, Troy Lee Designs, Alpine Star Boots, Surf Cam, and Cytomax Drinks.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. And we just lost Ezra Lusk for a second there. He went around. Jeff, one more question for you. Your mechanic, J-Bone, says he doesn't like to tell you a lot during the race. Do you want him to tell you things, or you just doing it on your own?
I let him put on there whatever he wants because I don't know. Half the time I don't even look at the board and it pisses him off. But.
Okay, now we got Ezra Lusk here. Ezra, tell me, like, there's a lot of action going on tonight in the behind you, but the whole race you rode pretty solid.
Well, that was my goal, to come here this weekend and ride solid, and I've been training with Gary Simmons, and I've really felt strong at the end of the race, and Yamaha, Bridgestone tires, and Fox Racing, everything worked great for me. I was just a little off the pace.
Well, we hope one day we see you at the top step here on the podium.
I'm sure we will.
Living in an era where Jeremy McGrath had no equal, Jeff Emig burst onto the scene as the rider who prevented the winningest rider of all time a perfect season. Then, in a 2-rider fight with McGrath for the 250 Outdoor Nationals, Emig took away Jeremy's most prized possession, the #1 plate. It is now 1997, and the 2-man battle is back, this time with McGrath's #1 Supercross plate at stake. The once invincible is now vulnerable. A rivalry has been rekindled in the sport of Supercross.